Hey, good morning, everyone. Ryan here. It is bright and early, not bright yet, still dark outside on September 15th. I wanted to make a video real quick because there's a few things going on in the world of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoins, uh, and just different people talking about it. And so I wanted to give some of my, just my opinion. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail because there's a lot of technical things that I don't necessarily have a full understanding of. So I'm not going to try to go down that road. But what I want to talk about, I want to mention first, the price of Bitcoin has dropped considerably. You can see right here, it's just under $3,000. Kind of look at this chart here. You can see so 3 days ago it was at $4,300. So it's taken about a $1,300 drop in the past few days, and that's substantial. But I want to kind of tell you why that might be happening. Why it's probably happening. One is China, so the world's largest, market for whatever financial anything. It's just they have the biggest influence on the world in terms of money, and they have decided the government is trying to ban Bitcoin. I don't know that that's possible, but they announced that they're trying to ban Bitcoin. So obviously that's going to build some speculation, some concern, things that make the value of Bitcoin go down. It's kind of like I don't know what to compare that to, but if somebody told us that vegetables are bad for us, all of a sudden, if the government said vegetables are bad for us, all of a sudden nobody would be buying vegetables, right? The demand would go down, the value would go down, all that stuff. So another big thing, that's probably a bad example, sorry, but Jamie Dimon, he's the CEO of JP Morgan, so one of the biggest financial firms out there. He also said that the other day that Bitcoin's a fraud. And I just want to and so a lot of people are hearing that. How's the CEO of the biggest bank, in the world, maybe the U.S. at least, and one of the biggest, I should say, is claiming that Bitcoin is a fraud. So let me just, the price, since he said that, the price has gone down from 5 to 10%, and let me just kind of back up a bit. So obviously this guy, he's a banker, a well-established banker. If you own one of the biggest banks in the world, but if you recall, so back in when was that? I guess 2008. Jamie was one of the ones to help, or he sat down with our government and essentially voted to allow the Lehman Brothers to fail. And this sparked one of the, where it says here, the greatest economic collapse of since the 1930s. So back in 2008. Now, so he, that was kind of his part. He had a hand in that. And it says, I'm going to read some of this article. People said to JP Morgan, if you let Lehman fail, the world is going to panic, and there's a good chance you'll fail too. Well, guess what happened? Not much. About 6 months later, JP Morgan does fail, and they need a $12 billion bailout from the U.S. government. Okay. Another thing, so even more recent with Jamie was in 2015. There's a video on this. You can just find this on the BitConnect homepage. It talks about Diamond was the keynote for a Fortune Global conference, and again he kind of denounced Bitcoin again when the price was about $450. So you have to understand, cryptocurrencies are JP Morgan's competition. So it's fairly common to denounce your competition, right? So but he denounced it at $450. And today, like I just showed you, it's up to $4,300. So almost 1,000% growth. So who's this guy? What's does he really kind of have a grasp on everything? I don't know. I don't think so. He called Bitcoin a fraud, and I want to address that as well, because another well-known person in finance. Let me find my um, is this gentleman here, the CEO of, you probably heard of McAfee. It's an antivirus software company, but John McAfee did an interview. Sorry, I'm trying to move this. Did an interview just talking about Bitcoin, and this was published 2 days ago. So he has a bet going that Bitcoin is going to hit $500,000 within 3 years, and so. And he talks about how it's really much more efficient than any banking system, credit cards, anything like that. And it is a great video. I'll put a link to it in my description because I think it's very interesting. He talks about Diamond, and he mentioned he addresses this thought of Bitcoin being a fraud. And I'm just gonna bring something up to you right now. And he talks about this, but in order to mine one Bitcoin, the tools, the equipment, the hardware, the power, the electricity, it takes roughly about $1,000 to mine one Bitcoin. That's called proof of work. Okay, proof of work. Now he brought up an interesting fact. I have this here. I've got two bills. Put this in the right. I've got this $5 bill, and I've got this $100 bill, right? What's the difference in these two things? How much does it cost to produce these two things? It costs the amount of money, whatever this paper and a little bit of ink cost. And that's it. They are virtually the same thing. They just have a different picture printed on it. And he makes a good point. So which one is really the fraud? Okay? Bitcoin costs about $1,000 to mine one Bitcoin. You have proof of work there, and I could go into the whole idea of inflation and just how that's not in the real world. That should not be happening. The government just simply prints these things out of thin air, and they tell us what they're worth with nothing to back it. And so as they print them, the value of them eventually goes down. And when the value goes down, we need more of them to buy the things that we need. I mean, just look at history, and anything 20 years ago has probably nearly doubled in price, if not more. And why is that? Is because the government continues to print this stuff and tell us that what it's worth, and they have no backing. They're just putting paper on a printer. Anyway, I don't mean to go down all that road, but watch this video. It's very, very interesting, but he makes some very good points. Next, I want to talk about the decline. So Bitcoin has been going down. It's very volatile. And he mentions that it's cryptocurrencies. Like any new tech, it's going to go up and down. Let me give you the definition of volatility. The volatility it's a noun, liability to change rapidly and unpredictably, especially for the worse. So the volatility is the fact that things are going to change rapidly and unpredictably, but usually and a lot of times for the worse. Okay, don't get too scared about that part, about the worst part. But the reason I bring that up is because if we go to if we look at BitConnect, and this is why I have invested into BitConnect. Let me find this here. So the money that we invest is being traded by a trading bot, and it's trading against the volatility. And it says right here, the chart above represents the interest rate changes on our platform, tracking the volatility of Bitcoin versus the US dollars and the volatility of the US dollar against major world currencies. And so let's I'm going to throw this example out there. Let's say that I had one Bitcoin 3 days ago. It was worth $4,300 today, and I just held that Bitcoin. Today, that Bitcoin's worth under $3,000, so I took a $1,300 loss on that Bitcoin. What I could have done, and this is what I want to try to emphasize here, is let's just say that I invested that Bitcoin, that $4,300, into BitConnect, the platform of BitConnect. what would have happened to that? And look at this. So like I just showed you, the volatility is great. This is probably one of the more substantial volatile few days that we've seen in a while. It went from $4,300 down to about less than $3,000 right now. But what's going on? So had I, and rather than just holding that Bitcoin and watching the value go down, had I invested that $4,300 into BitConnect, well, let me just show you here. I would have made, so let's say I did that back on the 13th, I would have then made, this is the next 3 days, 0.38, let me get my calculator out here. So $4,300, and because of the tier that's in, you actually get an extra 0.2%. So had I invested my one Bitcoin at $4,300, I would have made on the 14th 0.58. So let me see what that number is. 0.0058. I would have made an additional $25. Okay, that's good. And then today, I will have made on my $4,300. Wait. I would have made 1.78, and because this is in that third tier, or sorry, no, I'm wrong. This is in that second tier. So on the first day, sorry, I don't mean to keep doing this here, but let me back it up so I can give you real numbers. 0.0048. So on the first day, I would have made $21. The second day, so $4,300, or today, I'm going to be making 1.78 plus the 0.1 bonus, so 1.88. 188. I would have made $81. And then today, we're going to be at, and add a 0.1 to this, 0.0 or 2.01. So 80 plus 20, we're at $100 so far. 4,300 times 0.0201, $86. So I would have made, add that to the other previous 2 days, $186. So I would have, instead of having my Bitcoin drop in value down to 3,000, so losing $1,300, had I invested that $4,300 worth of Bitcoin 3 days ago into BitConnect, I would have made an additional $186. And that's what this program's doing. Now, these are really high days because the volatility has been really high. Yes, it's gone down, and the volatility can swing either way. It doesn't mean that we're only going to make money on interest when it goes down. Volatility also means it can rise back up, and that's also going to give a good interest payout. Let me just show you where things are at today. Again, the price is declining. It's being volatile. That's what it does. But let me just show you in the last 12 hours where it is right now. Right now, it's at 1.91% volatility, interest in volatility. So that's huge. To be able to make almost 2% per day on your investment, man, I mean, that's crazy. And that's all because, it's volatile. I could honestly, when I have my money primarily invested, my Bitcoin primarily invested in BitConnect, so I love seeing it drop big time. But you know what's going to happen soon? And just like you saw John McAfee's claim, it's going to rise. It's going to bounce back up, and that's also being volatile, right? It's also going to produce high interest rates for me as the volatility goes up. And so either way, it's a win-win. The only time BitConnect has a low interest rate is when it just kind of remains level. It just goes level. It stays around, say, $4,000 and doesn't really move much. Well, it's cryptocurrencies, so that's not really common in cryptocurrencies. So, you can look here, the last 30 days, average interest for the last 30 days with BitConnect is 0.89%. That's huge. The last 6 months, 0.91%. The last 7 days, 1.02%. So that's why the drop in Bitcoin does not bother me. I know it's going to create great interest for me through BitConnect, but I also know it's going to bounce back up and create great interest for me again. So that being said, this platform is built for these volatility swings. That's exactly what it's built to do. If you're not sure exactly how it all works and what the potential is, definitely watch some of my previous videos. I talk about compounding interest and how that can be extremely profitable. Folks, it's honestly life-changing because whatever amount you have invested, you get this daily interest each day. So imagine having $100,000 in here, or building your portfolio up to $100,000. You know, $100,000 times 2% is $2,000, right? So imagine getting, or 1% is $1,000. Imagine earning with $1,000 a day on a $100,000 investment like that, and over time, that's $365,000 a year. So anyway, just wanted to jump on and talk real quick. Hope you all have a great Friday and a great weekend as well. If you need anything, let me know. But I hope you'll subscribe to my video. I hope you'll like my video. And if you have any questions, shoot me a note. Also, I got a lot of good information on my website. It's in my description. It's teamrhino.com, or sorry, I keep saying that, teamrhino.co, or bcc22.co. So my BitConnect username is BitConnect22. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day, and let me know if you need anything. All right, bye-bye.